Hello everyone, I thought I'd start doing a new series of videos, and it's going to be looking at air rifle myths and seeing if any of them are true, any are false, because a lot of people say bad things about air rifles, and from experience I think a lot of this is nonsense. So what I'm going to try and do is do some videos where I prove certain things are wrong. Hopefully you all enjoy the series, and maybe I'll do a similar one on crossbows if I get the time and people enjoy this one enough. Okay, so I've got a 2.2 air rifle. It's a Crosman Nitro Venom. Now, this is obviously in the UK, air rifles without a license are limited to 12 foot-pounds of energy. In the US, I think most air rifles work out being 15 foot-pounds. Not because they're restricted, but because that's a sensible power for a lightweight pellet. So they're a bit weaker than most air rifles you get in America, or at least proper air rifles you get in America. Pellet guns, whatever you want to call them. But we're going to have a look in the series and see what a 12 foot-pound air rifle can do with various things. So, in the first episode, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be shooting a variety of targets with it, and I'll put the GoPro on for that so you get a first person of that. Then we're going to analyse what cheap 2.2 pellets will do to a variety of objects. So here are our targets. On the left we've got a 247 page catalogue. On the right we have the same catalogue but soaked wet, so that should make an interesting effect on what happens when a pellet goes through a wet book. We now have 4 planks of varying sizes and thickness, and what this is going to test is, will the pellet go through some planks and not others? Will it even go through any of them? We'll find that out. Now we have some cider cans filled with water, a milk carton filled with water, and the cider can on the far left is actually just empty with a couple of stones in the bottom to weigh it down. We're going to see what sort of effect the pellet has when it travels through one of these. For this video I'll just be using cheap SMK Spitfire pellets. These are 2.2 and these work quite well, but these aren't specialised, so they're not exactly piercing pellets. There'll be some pellets that will pierce better than these. They're not hollow points, but there'll be some pellets obviously expand better than these, but the purpose is they're just a good all-round pellet for doing tests like this. So let's get started.
Right, we'll start off with the books. Red dot on.
Right, hopefully that footage came out alright on the GoPro. It's a bit difficult when you've got on your head to know the exact angle to have it pick everything up, but hopefully you saw some interesting stuff. Okay, so first catalogue, entry holes there and there. So, and both pellets have exited. So, flip the book open. As you can probably see, as we get further and further through the book, the holes get bigger and bigger. And then you get to the end and the holes are that big. That's a pretty incredible size compared to the original pellet. So as you can see, 2.2s expand massively, or at least fragment massively. Actually, here's a bit of the pellet here. It's a shard of pellet with bits of the catalogue stuck into it. So let's done that. Okay, let's see what the wet book did. Entry hole there and there. Has it exited? Yes, both have managed to exit. It seems that the wet book is actually fragmented as much, but the pellets still have expanded as they've exited it, and they have left some pretty decent holes in there. Not as big as the other one, but you still wouldn't want to get hit by it. Let's move on to the wood. Plank 1, it's put a hole through like this. This is the exit, this is the entrance, and as you can see there's a bit of a mark in the door where the pellet still had a bit of speed and dented the door. Here we have plank 2. The pellet didn't manage to get all the way through this one. You can see it's stuck inside here. But what's quite interesting is on the other side you can see where it's actually split the wood and made it bulge outwards from the force of impact. Plank 3, the pellet entered here, and the pellet exited here, you can see, and it's taken a big chunk of wood with it, absolutely destroying the inside of it. Plank 4, the pellet entered here. It obviously didn't get very far through because of how thick the wood was, but it still probably managed to get a centimetre or more into that wood, which is pretty impressive for obviously the thickness and hardness of the wood. Let's look at these cans then. This was the first can I shot, the one with stones in the bottom. I shot this first because it kept falling over. So we have an entry hole there and an exit hole there. It's expanded a bit, the pellet, but not by too much, but it's still expanded. Next we have the milk carton. I was aiming for the middle of the cow's head. Looks like the pellet went high into the left. This might be my own fault as a shooter, but you see that's made a very big gash there, and hopefully you saw on the GoPro footage that it drained very fast. And there's also an exit hole there, so it's essentially gone through the side, torn all the side look, gone out there. These pellets do have a lot of power behind them. Now we have the most interesting ones. I'm assuming these are the entrance holes here and the exits are on the other side, but the way the metal's buckled I really can't tell. So I'm assuming these are going to be entrance holes, so now get ready for this. This is the exit. Exit 1, exit 2. Look how much damage that little tiny pellet's done to a can full of water, it's insane. Well, that concludes our first episode of Air Rifle Myths. I hope you found this interesting, and it's quite incredible what a little pellet can do. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, let me know, and I'll be making more of these videos. Thanks.